Hey everyone, how's it going? Call a Superhero here with another Overwatch video. Deathmatch has been on the PTR for about a week now. So here's a selection of 4 different characters, one for each hero class, so offense, defense, tank and support, that can be rather effective in the solo deathmatch mode. Before we discuss those 4 heroes, let's go into what we need to look for in a hero for him to be viable in deathmatch. For me, there are 3 key factors, among other things, that need to be taken into account. Number 1, does your character have a decent DPS output? This doesn't have to be the best DPS in the game, but you need to hold your own in a fight. So ask yourself, will your hero be able to do that? Number 2, is your hero dependent on other heroes? For example, Mercy is very dependent on other characters to be effective. Same goes for Reinhardt, who works better when he's got someone to protect. So really ask yourself, is your hero going to be able to work on his own? And number 3 is, does your hero have any weaknesses? The answer to that is probably yes, since every hero in a game has his strengths and weaknesses, and choosing your hero according to his or her weaknesses is going to help you out a lot. One last thing to take into account is that unlike regular Overwatch matches, you are playing for yourself on your own without a team. Which means you don't have a role to play, you're not a healer, you're not a DPS, you're not a tank. You are everything and anything at the same time and need to fend for yourself. So let's get right into it and start with support. I know this seems really surprising to include a support character in the selection. There are actually a few that could work in Deathmatch, but I've chosen one in particular who is Zenyatta.
Hello world.
First of all, Zenyatta has quite a crazy DPS output once you've put your Orb of Discord on someone, for example. You can take much larger characters down very effectively. Okay, you're not going to be using all of your abilities, for example your healing orb won't be useful for you, and your ultimate won't be that useful, although it will help you escape situations, for example, and it will help you survive, so it is actually useful in a way. One distinct advantage Zenyatta has over every other hero in the game in this mode is that he doesn't have any footsteps. Footsteps in this game mode are super important. You've got 7 other people to listen out for, and they're all enemies, so it's vital to try and figure out where everybody is at any given time. By not having footsteps, Zenyatta makes it really difficult for your enemies to do so. So if you're a good Zenyatta or you're willing to learn him a little bit, he can be really effective in Deathmatch. Next up, let's have a look at my choice of tank for this mode. Again, several of the Overwatch tanks can work in Deathmatch, can work solo, but the one I've chosen for this video is Roadhog. He's got basically everything you're looking for in a deathmatch hero. He's got a self-healing ability, he's robust, he's quite self-sufficient, and he can deal a decent amount of damage. Historically in Overwatch, Roadhog has been the punisher of solo targets, and he's still very good at doing that. You can hook, shoot twice, and most of the enemies that you'll encounter in Deathmatch will go down. Because that is one thing to remember, given Deathmatch is a solo game mode, most people will be choosing offense characters, DPS characters, so having a tank with a massive health pool and the ability to almost certainly kill your target if you hook him gives you a distinct advantage. Now that Roadhog can also move whilst he's using his take a breather ability, that also gives him an advantage that he doesn't need to look for the health packs around the map, but also he can go and hide behind some cover whilst he's healing, something that his enemy probably won't be able to do. Next up we have the defense hero, and I chose Junkrat.
Don't mind if I do.
Junkrat is one of my favourite characters in the game, probably actually the favourite one to play, and works stunningly well in Deathmatch. He's completely random and unpredictable, and in a mode where everybody is trying to predict what 7 other people are going to do at any one time, this can help you make their life very difficult. He can fight on several fronts at once, so he can cover several corridors by throwing bombs in either direction. His trap can be used in so many ways, for giving you an alarm to know if someone's coming from behind, or to trap a health pack, or any other number of things that you can think of. Lastly, with his concussion mines, he can deal a very decent amount of extra DPS, or be mobile to get to some of those harder to reach places on the map. All of this make him my top choice for defense, no questions asked. The last one to choose is for offense, and to be honest, all of the different heroes can work independently very well. But if I have to choose, I'm going to go with Doomfist for 3 reasons. The first one is that he's the only offense character who can quite reliably one-shot most of his opponents. Remember, in Deathmatch, other people are also going to be going for the higher DPS dealing characters, which means that they're going to have lower health and lower protection. This in turn means that your rocket punch is going to be able to deal a lot of damage, giving Doomfist a distinct advantage over the other offense heroes who might not be able to deal such amounts of damage on single targets in such a short amount of time. Doomfist has this kind of self-healing passive ability which generates temporary shield when he uses his abilities. This means that he's always topping up his health if he uses his abilities correctly, thus giving him another advantage over the other offense characters who have to rely on their health pool alone. Okay, some of them have self-healing, but these are all on cooldowns. Doomfist can do it whenever he uses any of his abilities. The third reason is for his mobility. Unlike some of the other offense heroes, Doomfist has quite a lot of mobility and can jump around the map quite easily. This gives him an advantage over other heroes like Tracer, McCree or Soldier for example. So that just about wraps up this video. The 4 heroes we've talked about today, I personally have had the most luck with and the best results with in the free-for-all deathmatch mode on the PTR. So if you're looking to get into deathmatch once it comes out into the live game, I would definitely recommend giving one of the 4 characters that we've discussed today a try and see how you get on with them. In the meantime though, if you've got any tips of your own for deathmatch, if you've got any heroes that you prefer that you think would work really well, please share them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please think to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time.